howdy, welcome back to more JTReacts, and today we are watching the European Union explain. Now, as an American, I'll be honest, I don't know how the European Union, the EU, works at all. Literally, all I know is, like, the UK left it, and it was a big deal, Brexit or whatever, you know? Which, by the way, whoever came up with that name, genius. British exit, the UK's leaving, you know? But other than that, I literally have no idea what the EU does, why it's a thing, I don't know. And on YouTube, I don't like to, like, get political or anything like that, but I feel like as somebody who's learning about the UK and kind of just Europe, period, it's something I should kind of know how it works, because it's a big part of most of the world, you know? So just know I'm here to learn about it, and that's it. So we're about to get into it. Go into the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 30,000 subscribers. So on my main channel, when we hit 100K, I got a tattoo. This thing right here, that tattoo, yeah, I got that. I low-key feel like we need to do something for this channel, like set a goal for the 100K subscriber mark. If y'all got some ideas, maybe another tattoo, maybe adding on to this tattoo. I don't know, if y'all have an idea, something for me to do when we hit 100K over here, which we will do eventually. It might be 3, 4, 5 years down the road, but hopefully it will happen eventually. So for now, I guess when we hit 30K, I don't know, do a backflip. I can't do that. So basically saying I will break either my neck, my hip, some sort of bone will be broken at 30K. So if y'all want to see more videos like this, let me know by hitting that like button. But other than that, let's get on up into it.
Where is the European Union? Obviously,
I don't know.
Here somewhere, but much like the European continent itself, which has an unclear boundary, the European Union also has some fuzzy edges to it. To start, the official members of the European Union are, in decreasing order of population, Germany, France, the United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, Poland...
Cap. Nope. UK left. I think this is an old video.
Romania, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Greece, Belgium, Portugal, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Sweden, Austria, Bulgaria, Denmark, Slovakia, Finland, Ireland, Croatia, Lithuania, Latvia, Slovenia, Estonia, Cyprus, Luxembourg, and Malta. The edges of...
Okay, I'm a say exactly what you just said. I memorized all of them. France, Germany...
The EU will probably continue to expand further out as there are other countries in various stages of trying to become a member. How the EU works is hideously complicated and a story for another time, but for this video you need know only 3 things. First, countries pay membership dues, and second, vote on the laws they all must follow, and third, citizens of member countries are automatically European Union citizens as well.
Oh, so it's just like a big old Costco. You just pay to be a member, you get some benefits, alright.
This last means that if you're a citizen of any of these countries, you are free to live and work and retire in any of the others, which is nice, especially if you think your country is too big or too small or too hot or too cold.
Oh, okay, so if your country is a part of the EU, you can go to any of the other countries in the EU and work and retire and live without having to, like, become a citizen? Okay.
The European Union gives you options. By the way, did you notice how all 3 of these statements have asterisks attached to this unhelpful footnote? Well, get used to it. Europe loves asterisks that add exceptions to complicated agreements. These 3, for example, point us towards the first bit of border fuzziness with Norway, Iceland, and Little Liechtenstein, none of which are in...
Who? Little Liechtenstein.
The European Union, but if you're an EU citizen, you can live in these countries, and Norwegians, Icelanders, or Liechtensteiners can live in yours. Why? In exchange for freedom of movement of people, they have to pay membership fees to the European Union, even though they aren't a part of it, and thus don't get a say in its laws that they still have to follow. This...
What? Hold on. Wait a minute. So these countries, they're not included. They're not a member of the EU. But their people can go and live in countries of the EU like they were, and they still pay money to be, like, included in the EU, but they're actually not included in the EU because they're not actually members, so they can't actually, like, vote on laws or anything, but they can still kind of do some of the stuff. Alright.
An EU citizen, you can live in these countries, and Norwegians, Icelanders, or Liechtensteiners can live in yours. Why?
Okay.
In exchange for freedom of movement of people, they have to pay membership fees to the European Union, even though they aren't a part of it, and thus don't get a say in its laws that they still have to follow. This arrangement is the European...
Oh, so they can't vote on the laws, but they still have to follow them? That's crazy.
Economic area, and it sounds like a terrible deal were it not for that asterisk which grants EEA, but not EU members, a pass on some areas of law, notably farming and fishing, something a country like, say, Iceland might care quite a lot about running themselves.
Oh, okay, so that's why the asterisks there. Okay, so it's you mostly have to follow all of them. But some of them will give you some leeway with.
Between the European Union and the European Economic Area, the continent looks mostly covered, with the notable exception of Switzerland, who remains neutral and fiercely independent, except for her participation in the Shenhen Area. If you're from a country that keeps her borders extremely clean and or well patrolled, the Shenhen Area is a bit mind-blowing because it's an agreement between countries to take a meh approach to borders. In the Shenhen Area, international boundaries look like this. No border officers or passport checks of any kind. You can
What? You can just like ride your bike into the other country? That's crazy.
walk from Lisbon to Tallinn without identification or the need to answer the question business or pleasure.
Oh, dude, as an American, that's insane. Like, some of my favorite videos on the internet are dudes, like, trying to go from America to Canada, and they have to go through, like, the border patrol process. Sometimes they're just in and out in, like, a minute. Other times it takes, like, an hour for them to get through. In the EU, nah, just go. You ain't got to talk to nobody. You here for business or pleasure. I'm here for whatever the hell I want, you know? Hey.
For Switzerland, being part of Schengen but not part of the European Union means that non-Swiss can check in anytime they like, but they can never stay. This kumbaya approach to borders isn't appreciated by everyone in the EU, most loudly the United Kingdom and Ireland, who argue that islands are different. Thus, to get onto these fair isles, you'll need a passport and a good reason. Britannia's reluctance to get fully involved with the EU brings us to the next topic, money. The European Union has its own fancy currency, the euro, used by the majority but not all of the European Union members. This economic union is called the Eurozone, and to join, a country must first reach certain financial goals.
Hang on, you're going too fast.
This economic union is called the Eurozone, and to join, a country must first reach certain...
Alright. Inflation less than 1.5% higher than the average of the lowest members. Okay, debt to GDP ratio less than 60%, and government deficit less than 3%. I don't know why I stopped to read this. I still don't know what any of it means.
Financial goals, and lying about reaching those goals is certainly not something anyone would do. Most of the non-Eurozone members, when they meet the goals, will ditch their local currency in favor of the euro, but 3 of them, Denmark, Sweden, and of course the United Kingdom, have asterisks attached to the euro section of the treaty, giving them a permanent opt-out. And
is it because, like, maybe, like, say whatever country this is, again, I'm American, say, like, their currency just isn't like as valuable as the euro, so once they join the EU they just switch to the euro? I guess that makes a lot of sense, but I mean, like, the pound in the UK, pretty valuable, I feel like, so it kind of makes sense why they wouldn't switch to it.
4 tiny European countries, Andorra, San Marino, Monaco, and Vatican City, have an asterisk giving them the exact reverse, the right to print and use euros as their money despite not being in the European Union at all. So that's the big picture. There's the EU, which makes all the rules, the Eurozone inside of it.
Wait, so they let other countries print and use their money even though they're not a part of it? Huh?
With a common currency, the European Economic Area outside of it where people can move freely, and the selective Schengen for countries that think borders just aren't worth the hassle.
Okay, hang on. I need to... So we got the Eurozone, alright? Then the European Union. Then the European Economic Area. And then Switzerland, basically. I thought this was just the EU. Apparently there's a lot more to it.
As you can see, there's some strange overlap with these borders, but we're not done talking about complications by a long shot, once again, because empire. So Portugal and Spain have islands from their colonial days that they've never parted with. These are the Madeira and Canary Islands off the coast of Africa and the Azores well into the Atlantic. Because these islands are Spanish and Portuguese, they're part of the European Union as well. Adding a few islands to the EU's borders isn't a big deal until you consider France, the queen of not letting go. She still holds on to a bunch of islands in the Caribbean, Reunion off the coast of Madagascar, and French Guiana in South America. As far as France is concerned, these are France too, which single-handedly extends the edge-to-edge distance of the European Union across a third of the Earth's circumference.
Dang.
Collectively, these bits of France, Spain, and Portugal are called the outermost regions, and they're the result of the simple answer to empire: just keep it. On the other hand, there's the United Kingdom, the master of maintaining complicated relationships with her quasi-former lands, and she's by no means alone in this on such an empire-happy continent. The Netherlands and Denmark and France, again, all have what the European Union calls overseas territories. They're not part of the European Union, instead they're a bottomless well of asterisks due to their complicated relationships with both the European Union and their associated countries.
I guess it makes sense, because it'd be hard for, like, these territories over here to travel through Europe, because they'd have to go all the way around or whatever, you know, so since they're not right here, I guess it kind of makes sense, but I don't really know.
Asterisks due to their complicated relationships with both the European Union and their associated countries, which makes it hard to say anything meaningful about them as a group, but in general, European Union law doesn't apply to these places, though in general, the people who live there are European Union citizens because in general, they have the citizenship of their associated country, so in general, they can live anywhere in the EU they want, but in general, other European Union citizens can't freely move to these territories.
My head hurts. Like, I have a pounding headache right now. What?
Which makes these places a weird, semi-permeable membrane of the European Union proper, and the final part we're going to talk about in detail, even though there are still many more one-off asterisks you might stumble upon, such as the Isle of Man, or those Spanish cities in North Africa, or Gibraltar, who pretends to be part of southwest England sometimes, or that region in Greece where it's totally legal to ban women, or Saba and friends.
Excuse what?
Who are part of the Netherlands and so should be part of the EU, but
hang on, no. We're not. We're not just gonna skip over what this little place be doing. Ban women? How? What?
It's totally legal to ban women, or Saba and friends who are part of the Netherlands and so should be part of the EU but aren't, or the Faroe Islands, upon which while citizens of Denmark live, they lose their EU citizenship, and on it goes. These asterisks almost never end, but this video must.
Thank the good God up above. Yeah. What I get out of that? We're together, but you can also, like, not be together, but also be together, but kind of not be together, and then have some places that are together, but also not together with the other people that are together. It's confusing, but I think I kind of get the gist of it now. It's very complex. That video needed to be 5 hours long and not 5 minutes long, but I feel like this is something I really needed to learn about, and I kind of got it. So if you want to see more videos like this, let me know by hitting that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 30,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all tomorrow.